My name is Sam, and this channel is dedicated to sharing the day-to-day life of owning my own candle business, the Merry Wick. Along the way, I'm hoping that being able to live this creative lifestyle will also help me learn to live slowly and cozily, I guess. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, come along. Hello friends! So I think for this day, I'm just going to be filming one day. I've been thinking that I personally really like longer form videos because I like to have them on in the background or like watch them while I'm working or trying to get motivated to work. So I kind of prefer when they're a bit longer, but I know that might not be for everybody. So I'm going to focus a little bit on like making shorter videos as well, just so there's like some variety. So I have quite a few things to do today. I started working on restocks yesterday because I'm hoping to have those done by next Friday for a little restock thingy. I made a few batches of candles yesterday, which means that I need to trim the wicks and smooth the tops and label them. And then I also started making the wax melt bars that I'm transitioning to doing instead of wax melt clamshells. Those are a little more like time and effort intensive than the clamshells were. So for these, once I clear off all of the candles that I made, I'll have space to get out my laminator so that I can print out the labels for the wax melt bars and then laminate those and put those like in the bag with the wax melt bars. Don't know if that's gonna be like the final version of packing for those because it is very time intensive, but I don't know because it is more cost effective, so we'll see. So yeah, pretty much just going to be finalizing all the stuff I made yesterday, packing it up, and then once I have like full space available, I will probably start making more restocks. I actually got a lot done yesterday, so hopefully it doesn't, like, maybe I could get the rest of the restocks done today. Probably wishful thinking, don't think it's actually gonna happen, but I can try. The after work for doing candles of the top smoothing and the labeling and everything usually takes longer than I want it to or expect it to, so we'll see what I actually get done today. Those are my main projects for the day, so let's do those. Also, I'm trying to get better with like eye contact, so I'm trying to look at the lens more rather than just like looking off, because I know I look off a lot when I talk, which isn't a problem necessarily, but I feel like I should get used to kind of not being afraid to make eye contact, even if it's fake virtual eye contact. So sorry if I creep you out by staring at the camera. So I've been thinking a lot about social media lately, and like I said in a different video, I recently deleted TikTok off my phone, which was very good for my mental health, but I always try to be a little hyper aware of social media and how I interact with it, and also how I present myself through it. And that's not to say that I try to present myself in a way that isn't authentic to who I am. Kind of actually the opposite, where I never want to put on a persona, I suppose. I think specifically with TikTok, I was just constantly seeing people say and do things that I felt like, personally, I felt like were not probably how they were in real life, and they were only saying those things and acting that way for the virality of it and, you know, for the likes. And that's something I've always wanted to stay away from. And I think perhaps sometimes I take it too far. I'm generally very against personally participating in a lot of trends just because I feel like they're not authentic to me or like my business. And in terms of taking that too far, I think sometimes I just take myself and all my social media channels just too seriously, probably. I do think that the version of me that people see online is still very much me, but sometimes it is excluding more of my sense of humor and everything just because, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of like gatekeeping it to like protect myself a little bit and like have something that's just mine, but I do think that I don't need to take everything quite as seriously as I do. And while I've been contemplating the role of social media in my life and how I want to engage with it, I've also been reading Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I've highlighted a lot of things, but one very relevant line from it is, "The paradox that you need to comfortably inhabit if you wish to live a contented, creative life goes something like this. My creative expression must be the most important thing in the world to me if I am to live artistically, and it also must not matter at all if I am to live sanely." And I think this is really relevant to me right now because in taking myself too seriously on social media, I feel like that is my way of trying to make my art meaningful and important, because if I'm creating these things and just joking around, do they really matter? But then on the other side of that, if you've made your creativity the only thing that matters in your life, when you don't get the reception to it that you were hoping for, or your perfectionism kicks in and it's not as good as you wanted it to be, everything comes crashing down because it's so important to you. So you do need to have that balance of caring a lot and also not taking it too seriously, even though it means a lot to you. This is especially hard for me because I'm overly aware that I'm only making candles, and it's really hard for a candle to be very important and meaningful to other people, which I think is why I try to put so much effort and love and thought into my sense and help people connect with the things they're inspired by in a new way. But this has always kind of been more than just a business and a way to make money for me. And I think sometimes I convince myself that if I'm not taking everything surrounding it super seriously, all of that meaning and thoughtfulness will kind of disappear. And I think making these longer form videos on YouTube is going to be a good exercise for me of trying to find a balance of getting to actually express all of my creativity while also maybe not taking it incredibly seriously. So yeah, we will see what comes out of all of this. This is today's playlist because I absolutely love Animal Crossing music. It calms me down so much. So I had a few customers that requested I start making 3-wick candles, which is going to be a whole process, but I made this one and the wicks are definitely too close together, so I'm making a template to make a better wick setup. I started by taking an overhead photo of the candle jar so that I could import it into Canva and then start messing around with like the placement of wicks. Ideally, having all of the wicks spaced out as evenly as possible will mean that the melt pool is equally distributed and hopefully the candle won't overheat and the melt pool will reach around the edges of the jar. I didn't show it, but I did trace out a circle the size of the jar to know what size to print it out as, and it worked. So I had planned on packing the wax melt bars and everything, but then I realized I don't actually have just like plain white cardstock, which is what I'm going to use to print those because I want them to be like higher quality. So that's gonna have to wait until tomorrow because I didn't have any, so I had to order some. And yeah, that's the update on that one. So as I expected, everything took longer than I thought it was gonna be, so I did not get any candles made today except for the big one. So that'll be something for tomorrow. And also, as you can see, it's already getting pretty dark in here and my husband's about to get home. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. I feel like I still got like an okay amount of stuff done. And yeah, generally just trying to be okay with not doing everything all at once, as long as I get my work done and I'm productive. So yeah, I feel like it was a pretty good day. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed a shorter video, and see you next time.